Welcome to the Local Small Business Coach Podcast, where we discuss everyday challenges local small business owners face and help to provide the information you need to increase your profits, boost your sales, improve your processes, and develop stronger teams. So if you're looking to take your local small business to the next level, let's dive in. Here's your coach, Tammy Adams.
Hey, badass business owners. Welcome to another episode of the Local Small Business Coach Podcast, where each episode we work on getting you to $100,000 in take-home pay. Today, we're going to discuss why you need to start getting serious about your business. So if you're ready to boost your profits, increase your sales, improve your processes, and develop stronger teams so you can stop living job to job, then let's dive in. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the show. Another week has passed on the calendar, and hopefully you're ready to start kicking some butt. Well, so far we're about a week in, and some of you might be have been going all along, and some of you might be just kind of getting back into it after taking some time off for the holidays. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is getting serious about your business. I was in a conversation with somebody that we started talking about local small business owners. We're kind of helping folks in different ways. And we started talking about how there's so many different types of folks that are out there, and how there's some people out there that are really serious about their business. And then there's folks that range from being totally serious all the way to the other end that'll tell you they're a local small business owner, but they're not really serious about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they're serious about making some money, and I think they're serious about what they do. And I think that when they take care of their customers or clients, they are providing great service and quality products in most cases, or services. That's not that type of serious that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is coming across as a business owner and not just somebody who does something. You see, a business owner is going to grasp that business by the hand and just, take ownership of it and put the pieces in place that they need to have. Whereas somebody who's just dabbling to make some side money is not going to do that. For example, let's talk about it this way. Let's just say you make some tchotchkes and you sell them on the side, but you're not really, you have this little side thing. Well, you know what that is? That's a hobby that you try to sell and make some money. Or let's just say that, occasionally you'll fix things for friends or whatnot. So, you've got a handyman tendency. So you say you have a handyman business, but you kind of don't market it yourself. You don't go out there. You don't have the tools. But you know what? When someone refers you, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. It'll cost, $20 an hour, or, I'll do that job for $500, whatever the case may be. So it's more of like a hobby or a side gig. Now, side gigs aren't necessarily businesses. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself. Now, I think the majority of you are probably more serious than most, which is why you're listening to a podcast on becoming a better local small business owner. But we all know the type of people that I'm talking about. But there are some little things that go along with becoming a serious small business owner that we might want to look in the mirror and say, hey, do I have these pieces in place? And what I thought I would do is kind of go over some of the items that this gentleman, who is all about, he's been helping local small business owners for like 36 years. Some of the things that he kind of brought up that he looks at from his business side as somebody who's really serious about their business. And what's interesting is it starts sometimes with even the smallest of things. For example, a business card. In his mind, someone's not serious about their business if they don't even have a business card. And the reality is, when you look at getting a business card in today's world, they're relatively cheap. There are some websites that will actually give you your first $250 or $500 for either free or for like $10. And they have templates online that you can use. You don't even have to design them out. You can even use their logos if you want temporarily, while you try to figure out what it is that you want your logo to be. For example, there's one I see all the time for maid services or cleaning services. They have this one lady with this little mop. She's kind of a cool little character. And I see her all the time out there on folks because she's one of the default templates through Vistaprint. And that's great. But you know what? They made an attempt. They got a business card, something they can hand out to people. And you want to have this because I know we're going to a digital world, and I understand that you could do a lot of things through sending text. You really kind of want two types of business cards. You want the physical kind, but you also want to have something on your phone that you can say, hey, let me shoot this over to you. And by the way, when you put it on your phone and you shoot your information over, I'm going to give you a little tip that I think will help you out. Create a secondary name for yourself in your own cell phone. And what you want to put is you want to put your name, comma, and then what it is that you do. So for example, if you're Joe Smith, the handyman, then put Joe Smith, the handyman. So this way, when it shows up on their phone, when they go to scroll and search for handyman, it'll automatically say that, because that way when you text your information over to them as one of those little V cards, when they save it to their phone, it's going to say handyman. So they'll never forget, because otherwise they're going to go, Joe Smith, who the heck is this Joe Smith person? So create your own person. Make sure you put on there like your name, your phone number, and your email, whatever the best way, and your website if you have one. So it makes it nice and easy. But you really need to have both a paper business card and have something set up in your phone that you can easily give to somebody. It really helps in today's digital world. It makes it much easier, but you want to try to have both. The other thing that he felt really strongly on is you really kind of have a secondary business card, which, as you know, you guys, especially if you've listened for a while, or those of you that are just new to the show, I'm huge on the fact that you need to have a website. I don't care how basic it is, as long as it covers the most basic things. I even have an episode that if you don't have a website, or you have a basic one, and you didn't hear it before, go listen to the episode where I talk about the must-haves on your website. We're talking about like your name, your business, what you do, what services and products that you offer, your hours of operation, stuff like that. Your secondary business card is your online presence, whether that's this website, or in his case, he was saying, even if you have a Facebook page, which isn't a bad idea for most of you, even if you don't do much on it, because here's the thing. When you Google and you search for things, and you probably have noticed this, a lot of Facebook pages are now popping up in those top rankings for those items. So you want to have one or the other, preferably both. But that's your online business card. So it's another type of business card that you have. So really you've got three. You've got the physical business card, the electronic business card, and finally you want the web business card, whether it's Facebook or website, with the most basic information. And that's going to help you become like really serious about your business. This gentleman also felt strongly that you needed to have some type of logo or headshot, depending upon what you offer, that's for your business. And by the way, a logo doesn't have to be something crazy and hard. And I know myself, I've been lost for days and years on a logo. Matter of fact, I still go through it when I try to figure out which one I want to use for the website. So don't get too hung up on that piece. Sometimes it can be something really basic that just says, hey, this is what this is. But for example, if you're a handyman, since we're going to pick on handymans today, let's stick with that. If you're a handyman, then, even if you just had a drill, it still kind of conveys that quick things. But don't take wrong just having your own initials. If you go by TK Enterprises or TK plumbing or whatever, then just put the letters TK and put a circle around it, and boom, you've got a logo. So you don't have to have anything crazy, and you can change it in the future when you can rebrand, whatever the case may be. But you do want something that you're going to have out there as part of your thing that catches their eye, which is one reason why he is real big on that. It's more of a brand recognition. Obviously, I tell you that your brand is a few things. It's what your community tells you are, what they talk about with you, but there is that physical site of a logo. And like I said, simple is more. If I showed you a big yellow M, you know it's McDonald's. If I show you a swish, you know that it's Nike. So you don't have to go crazy for your logo. You just need something that people can start recognizing that it's you. Another area that we kind of got into this big conversation on as far as was professionalism. That if you are a local small business owner, is to look at your professionalism. And we actually talked about a lot of different examples the two of us have come across. And it's no different, especially with today. Well, let me kind of step back. Especially with today's online world, because whether you're going to be hired by an employer or you're going to be hired by somebody to come into their home to do some job, or they're going to take their kids and go into your business, your brick and mortar, whatever the case may be. People are going to go online. We've talked about that. They're going to check out your website. They're going to check out your Facebook. But here's the thing. They also, with today's, you got to be careful. You never can be too careful. People are going to Google you, and they're going to Google you as a person. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up landing on something that you've posted online. And you want to make sure that you ask yourself are you proud of anything that you've put online? For example, as much as I want to respond to sometimes people's stupidity or remarks that they make, I never respond and get into those kind of feeds when it comes onto Facebook. No matter how wrong I may think they are, I don't get into political debates. I don't get into religious debates, because at the end of the day, every person's money's green. Now, granted, if somebody's outright horrible, I'm not going to work with them. But at the end of the day, everybody believes what they believe, and you're never going to get them to change. So you have to make sure that when you're looking at your Facebook profile or things that you've put on there, are you proud of them? Now, you can feel proud of your stance of what you feel, but at the end of the day, are you willing to risk putting food on the table to stand behind those? And if you are, great, then, whatever. But for most people, it's a fine line that you walk, and you just get in, get out. You're not trying to get in any kind of debates or anything like that. If somebody's an absolutely horrible person, then yeah, absolutely. Pass their business. Don't worry about it. But most people, they're just a product of their circumstances, of whatever they've been taught in the past or whatever. And I try not to get too hung up on that. And what's interesting is most people they're not as strongly opinionated as they think they are. It sounds good. They talk in sound bites, but they, for the most part, they take each person one-on-one. And if they have a strong connection with you, you guys are going to have a wonderful relationship. So just my main purpose, I guess, on this section is, for example, we were talking about somebody's Facebook page. We were talking about a business owner who has a great product that they offer. And when we look at their Facebook page to try to get their information, they've got you've got that little picture on Facebook, and then you've got the bigger picture. And in the little picture, it's totally unprofessional with what they're doing. And in the background, they're doing some things that, some people would find really offensive. And right now, forgive me, my head is completely going blank on some of the different examples, but a professional picture when you see it, or if it's the right thing for someone to do, to put on there. Does it suck? Absolutely. And I've always said that this sucks. It sucks that you have to monitor your personal feelings and thoughts and everything else, and still be a professional business man or woman. And the reality is, it is what it is. And the sooner you accept it, the better you're going to be, the more sales you're going to have, and everything else. Things will come back and bite you. Or there's going to be people that just say, yeah, that's not the person that I want to work with. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean become something that you're not. I am who I am. I'm a down to earth kind of regular person. You're not going to find me online, dressed to the nines, all made up to be something I'm not, because that's not the person who's going to show up. So don't go to the extreme and put a suit and tie on if you're not a suit and tie kind of person. There's a way to be professional and have a professional feel about you without you having to go that route. It's just being the best you that you can be. Present the best you that you can be. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to keep rattling on this. The main thing is just be careful of your online presence when people Google you and the things that you say. If you get online and you spew tons of hatred, then I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose some clients, and you may not care. Fine. But is that professional? Whether you want to be or not, yes, you have personal time and you have business time. But when you work and serve a community, in their eyes, you represent yourself all the time. It's the same way that you drive. If you've got logos and stuff, stickers on your vehicle, you have to be aware of, you can't be cutting people off and flipping them off. That's going to get out about your business. When I drove around an ice cream truck with ice cream plastered all over it, I was constantly aware that everybody was looking at my truck. You couldn't help but look at my truck. It stood out. So when people got into my truck, the first thing that they got was the lecture of behave while you're in my truck, no matter what someone does. And needless to say, people would try to cut me off or do something, and I had to snap really quick at the other person to, don't stop. I'm in this community. Same thing if I go out to dinner and I'm with somebody who's being loud and obnoxious. It's like I have to calm them down. It's like, look, you're representing me while you're out with me. So I try to be careful of that at all times. Another area that we talked about was having a business license. Most of our communities require you to have a business license, and there's a lot of folks that don't have one. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't. Some people use it so that they feel as if they shouldn't have to pay taxes. If they don't do it, they don't have to pay sales tax and everything else. Well, the reality is that it's one of those necessary evils. One, you're supposed to have one. Two, it's our businesses that help put the taxes into the community. And most of the time, the taxes aren't you paying the taxes. It's your customers paying the taxes that they're supposed to do. Some businesses, you're required by your area to collect sales tax. And you might find it easier for you not to have to manage that piece of the business, but it is the law. And one of the things that he was noticing, because part of his side business it's not side business, the business he's been doing for a long time has to do with accounting. So he sees us all the time where people are not getting business licenses like they should. And it's a very important thing that you need to have on there. Another area that we talked about a little bit was communication, of how you communicate yourself. We just talked about that a little bit in the last one. You got to not only watch how you present yourself online, but you also want to, how you communicate with people in the field. Are you a person who does a lot of swearing? Well, guess what? That's going to turn off in a lot of people. So, you've got to, really watch where you swear, when you swear, what you swear. Some words are way more offensive than others. I know, for example, when I decided to put in there when I call you guys badass, some people don't like that. When I say go out and kick ass, some people don't like that. And I understand that, but I think it's more of the context in which I'm using it, that I'm not just using one of the words that's part of both of those as a negative thing. I'm not using it as a swear word. I'm using it as a motivational word. And so it's more of the context of it. Most people aren't going to be offended by those types of things. But you don't want to be out there using the F word or throwing S-bombs and all that other stuff. So watch how you're communicating, especially because you're going to be in people's homes and you're going to be around their family, around their children. And, same thing if you're out at McDonald's and you're sitting there in your full uniform and you're talking to your buddy and you guys are just going crazy on things and saying stuff. And I've been there where I'm like, oh my gosh, do they realize everybody can hear them? Once again, that's more to the professionalism about being serious about your business and how you want your business to be perceived. I guess the biggest way, the thing that you want to keep in mind is there needs to be a switch that mentally goes off inside of you that says, hey, you know what? I am a serious business owner and taking your business seriously. Because something happens to most of us that, and if you go into it 100% that this is going to be a serious business, then yeah, you're probably coming at it from the right mental. But a lot of us are accidental local small business owners where we do start dabbling in something to help our buddies, to help our friends, to help our neighbors. And next thing you know, we're doing this full time. In which case, we never set out to be a local small business owner, but it's become our full-time thing, or at least, 25, 30 hours. So if this has become you and this has become your reality, or someone that this has become the reality, then really you've got to help them make that mental switch that I am a small business owner. And when they talk to people, they talk about, I am the owner of X business and I am a professional, and start acting it and start making sure that everything that you put out there has to do with being a serious business owner. So I guess a lot of it is, but here's the cool thing. I will tell you that once you mentally make that change and you start thinking like a CEO, that you start thinking of the president of your company or the owner of your company in a real solid manner, guess what? Your business actually takes off because your decisions are completely different. And you stop, the other people start taking you serious. Because if somebody's going to shop around and they're going to say, hey, I'm going to look at X, Y, and Z handyman or plumbers or cleaners or whatever the case may be, they're going to more than likely not just go off of price. They're probably going to go ahead and go off of who comes across as the most professional. So if you start taking your business seriously and start being more professional, you might see that your business actually takes off. And if you're frustrated, this is something I'll challenge you is if you're frustrated that you're kind of stuck, one of the areas that I would challenge you to step back and ask yourself is, do you come across as a professional business owner? And if for any reason, it's not about what you think. Do you think your customers and clients, your community sees you as a professional business owner? If they don't, put the things in place to make that switch, and you might find that you get unstuck, that you start taking on clients that you never had before or had access to just because of how you are presenting your business and your company in your community. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. And really my closing thought is this, is I want you to ask yourself, are you a dabbler or are you a real business person? And if you really want to be more than just a dabbler, really just, look in the mirror, make sure that you're putting in place the things you need to be taken seriously as a local small business owner, and just a business owner in general. Do you have the things in place like we talked about earlier that really shout from the rooftops that, yes, I am a serious dog in this world and I want to, I'm going to make things happen. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I just want to make sure that before we go, that I remind you to get your free business health check over at the website, localsmallbusinesscoach.com. And you can even put in there localsmallbusinesscoach.com/business health check. It will take you right there. This is a great PDF that you can download. And over a couple of hours, you're going to dive into your business. You're going to know your strengths, your weaknesses. You're going to help put together a game plan. You're going to know your best-selling items, your margins. You're going to know all kinds of stuff. And it really does only take a couple of hours for you to be able to do that and set a game plan for the next 12 months. A lot of folks have been going over there and getting that sucker. And, by the way, if you do get it and you have some feedback or things you'd like to see, definitely let me know. My goal is to try to update this every year to make this stronger for everybody and really develop a tool that continues to help you increase your business. Because, my main goal is if we can increase what you make on an hourly basis, we increase what you make at the end of the year and we get you to that $100,000 that I feel every single one of you deserves to make. And don't forget, if you ever have a topic you would like on the show, just shoot that over to me at Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com. And with that, I want you to stop listening to me. Get out there, go kick some ass. Bye for now. Hey, before you go, I just have one little favor. If you have a subject, a topic, a question that you would like have answered on the show or talked about, please shoot me a message over at Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com. Once again, I want to hear from you, so shoot it over to me, Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com.